the SKOR North Twins Show.
Wow, a little bonus extra innings episode. I thought we were potentially on hold with extra innings for at least the next month or so, Judd. Instead, we got an extra innings episode for you. We just hopped off a Zoom call with Dave St. Peter and the Minnesota Twins, who formally have announced a streaming plan. The Twins finally have a direct-to-consumer streaming option for 2025, something Dave hinted at yesterday on the radio as well. And Doogie and I, obviously, on Scoops today, talked about, I think there's something in the works. We didn't actually think it would be the TV plan coming together this quickly, but the Twins will have a direct-to-consumer option for the 2025 season. Twins TV, if you will. So MLB will produce these games. Price point to be determined. Asked Dave that. We don't know yet, but expect it probably to be in the similar $20 a month range. What was it? Was it $200 a year, $180 a year for the Padres?
I think the Padres and Rockies were $99.99 for the entire season. So it's actually a bargain.
Yeah, it really is. And there's some other things that we'll get into. I mean, Judd was your Sandy Koufax in this. I was your Game 5 starter. I was just trying my best to bridge us to the next series. Judd was in there, who used to be a former lead TV. Yeah. Was it lead TV beats? Like, what was your job title?
There was no lead because I was it. I was for about 8 years the TV, radio, sports columnist and news guy for the Star Tribune, now Minnesota Star Tribune sports page.
Okay.
So like I've gone through this before. I covered just as a point of reference, the Victory Sports thing was on my watch.
Okay.
One of the bigger
That's right.
disasters.
Yes, it was.
So yeah, this is, as the kids say, this is not my first rodeo, Declan.
So here's some of the highlights of what this all means, and Judd and I will have just a quick little episode for you guys here on Extra Innings. Hit the like button, subscribe button too, by the way, for Minnesota Twins content. Here's some of the things that I wrote down, Judd. You also jump in or take the ball from me after I kind of run through these notes here. So they are limiting all blackouts. They will have enhanced production and options to watch Twins games on cable and satellite still, plus the direct-to-consumer streaming option. Now, when there is a national TV game, the Twins, for example, were on Apple TV a handful of times. I believe they were only on Bally's directly for 151 games, so about 11 games this year were national broadcasted games. That will, if that happens again in 2025, which they're bound to be national games, those games will be blacked out on the direct-to-consumer option. So when Apple TV has the game, you do have to be an Apple TV subscriber to have that. Again, price point, we don't know yet, but probably comparable to what other teams in the Padres and Guardians. No, the Guardians are entering the space.
It was the Rockies and the Padres.
Rockies and the Padres
were the two prime examples.
Thank you. And today's announcement, according to Dave St. Peter, has no impact of payroll. So those are some of the things. Also, one other thing, and Dave is still a huge advocate for an over-the-air antenna option. That's not on the front burner of their plans, but it is something they have discussed, and that's important to Dave at least. So there could be a Twins game at least like once a week, or just a channel over the air like 45 or Fox 9 Plus that could also house games. Those are some of my bullet points, Judd, that I took away from this, and we'll try to give you as much as we can here as what the Twins are entering the Twins entering the streaming era.
So this is what they wanted to do a year ago. There's conflicting reports as to why. Dave was asked about that today and said it was an option and we didn't do it. I have heard behind the scenes the Twins wanted to do it, and at the 11th hour, baseball came back to the Twins and said, sorry, we're not really prepared to take you on yet, and they were forced back to Diamond/Bally's, which was a huge distribution problem. Now, just to give you some stats here, just for context, to what does streaming and what does no blackouts mean? The press release issued by MLB today on this, because there's a few teams that have made this move: the Guardians, the Brewers, and Twins. Just for the Twins alone, the Twins on Bally Sports North reached approximately 1.1 million homes in 2024. That number is going to expand to approximately 4.4 million homes. So this is the reach that you now get. As far as the cable and satellite providers go, baseball is going to have to negotiate. Now, I think they've done this successfully, but in this market, certainly with Comcast to carry the channel, with Charter. So like there's cable systems and nationally satellite providers that they're going to have to reach deals with. Now, if they don't, that doesn't mean that you can't get the games, because with a smart TV, you can do the direct to consumer option, which is going to make things easier. They basically are sticking decks with cable and satellite because old school guys like me are more into that form. But that being said, this is going to, if you pay the, let's just say it goes up to $110 a year or something like that, you are going to have an option, whether it's streamed or provided through your cable operator or satellite. You're going to have an option through streaming to watch games. That's incredibly important. I think one question that people are going to ask immediately is, who's going to call the games? Are they going to be the same? Dave mentioned that Corey Provis is definitely back. I think Corey's paid by the team. Justin Morneau, it sounds like, is back. Beyond that, they are going to get some talent to do like pre and post. I don't know if that's going to be Audra Martin, LaPanta, or not. I don't know if they're going to have as many of the former players who have been analysts on call. That's all to be determined. But Provis and Morneau are coming back. So that's going to be a big question. The rights fee one that you broached is really intriguing because Dave said we are not, I believe his exact words were, there is no rights fee or guarantee from this.
Yeah.
So I believe the lawsuit with Diamond/Bally's that the Twins were involved with in Houston a couple of years ago with the judge there, which now it's still ongoing, but the Twins are out of it. I believe the number that came out under order from the judge was, I think the Twins made it turned out, $56 million a year that they got a check for from Diamond in 2023. That number, in going back to Diamond Dex, was cut in 2024. We don't know to how much, but I think speculating around 42 mil is probably accurate. And keep in mind, the payroll still came down because of that. So my question was, is this going to impact the payroll this time? And Dave talked about how Joe Polad a couple of weeks ago during the last game of the season had discussed payroll. And it sounds like what the Twins are saying is the payroll will not go down. So a very interesting situation here, because you're going to, I mean, probably not nothing, but even less. But I would definitely say any chance of the payroll going up now, like I hope it gets raised, probably is quashed until the Twins know more about what their finances are going to be from this deal that's going to involve them and Major League Baseball. That's it for me.
Yeah, so this is just kind of an interesting move for them. I mean, is it safe to say that this is the best? And by the way, it's no secret on this show over the last week plus, between Mackie, Judd, myself included, we have ripped the Twins for making all the wrong decisions on the field and obviously off the field. Is this one of the few times we can actually praise the Twins for making the right decision? Like, gut check, like right now, Judd, do you think that this was the right move to announce this now? And just in general, long term, does this feel like the right thing to do for the Twins?
Yes on both. Both. And I like the fact that this didn't drag out. I like the fact that they eliminated any questions. Diamond is now out. So there's no, hey, we'll pay a little bit more or something. I don't know. I love that. And this is, as Dave said, the future is changing constantly. Like, we don't know the local media landscape, and heck, the whole thing is changing day by day. Is this where things are going to end up in 5 years? Probably not. Got no clue. But is this where things are going, Declan? Absolutely. Yes. This was the first positive move that the Twins have made from a PR standpoint in, a year? Yeah. Like, it started with Joe saying, Joe Polad saying that the salary, that the payroll was going down. And then, it came out, I think it was February or so. It was late in the ball game that they said, that whole thing about us being streaming while we're going back to Diamond. So 8 months, 10 months, I don't even know. Anyway, yes, both sides of this extremely positive. And the most important thing is now everybody can watch Twins games, meaning if they are exciting, young people can now stream games. Like they were literally, the Comcast thing was a debacle. When Comcast got dropped Bally's, that was a debacle, okay? But it was bad before that because a lot of people don't get cable, and young people, and I don't blame them one bit, want to stream shows. So this is on both sides, baseball and the Twins. They're going to where the future is, and amen to that.
Yeah, I think it's a great one too. And just to clarify here too, because I know we're live right now on the SKOR North YouTube channel, and maybe you're also consuming this afterwards or in podcast form. So appreciate you guys supporting the SKOR North Twins Show. There will be a direct, dedicated TV channel focused on live games, and in addition to, I think I have this right here, Judd, and you correct me if I'm wrong. And then there'll be a direct-to-consumer streaming option. Both those things aren't the same thing. There's two options, correct?
I think we have to wait and see on this. So
yeah,
so
that's where I'm a little confused.
So this is not a 24/7 RSN. It's not the Victory Sports thing. At that point in time, you had to launch a network. So like you had to go get high school games, and I think they cut a deal with ESPN Regional to just constantly show stuff. This is not that. And Dave said it's not going to be that. That's not the goal. That's not the plan. I think what we're going to see at the very least is this. And I think this is how the Padres started, okay? If you were a cable subscriber or satellite subscriber, you would get, like, it was a dedicated channel, but it was dark a lot. And then, you know, I think in the Padres case, when they launched this 5 minutes before first pitch, you know, the countdown started, right? Padres baseball. Well, Dave makes this sound like they are planning on pre and post game shows. And that's also going to be contingent on income because you're paying more people. So he made it sound like that. But he also said eventually what I think they're going to call Twins TV might have some like Twins, you know, retrospectives and stuff like that as filler. But I don't think that's going to be full time. My guess is if you get the streaming service, you can also watch that stuff as well. But make no mistake, this is not a full-time channel. And this is not, so it's not going to be like, well, the Twins cut a deal with the Wolves, and now it's Twins Wolf. And you're going to see, the future does not involve that. So in fairness, I think we have to see how this plays out, but you're not going to be, and it's why it's cheaper, you're not going to be subscribing to a full-time channel.
Right. Yeah, and again, price point for this to be determined. I would imagine it's similar to what the other teams had, which was about $20 a month or $100 for the season. And Dave mentioned, I think he mentioned that we really won't have the clarity on that until like closer to opening day, which is a little surprising. I would imagine that's cleaned up like into spring training or like even before it, just so like you're not just waiting there.
They'll
like
set the price.
Yeah. So if you're looking for a price point on what that looks like, maybe $20 a month is probably a good guess. If you want to save money by buying it for the whole season, you would by getting the full price at $100.
That's a great deal still.
Yeah, and I would too. I mean, I'm paying. I've obviously laid out what I'm paying for. I'm paying $25 a month for my great way to watch all the options. That being said, I would still probably subscribe to this in addition, even though I still have it, just because it's going to be the same thing. And then if they're indeed on an over-the-air channel or there is a direct channel that is dedicated with an antenna or one of your old school TVs or even the smart TVs have that stuff built into them now, that is also an option. So yeah, honestly, I'll say it again. I think this was the best decision they've made in a year plus. Like this. The offseason in baseball is already really quiet. It takes a long time. Free agency won't start for a month plus. The winter meetings have lost their luster. I think it was important for the Twins to get out in front of this. And to be honest, this is, again, very rare stuff for us from the last year. I praise the Twins for this move. This was a good move and a good idea to get out in front of this early and set the parameters of here's how you're going to find Twins games in 2025.
It gives Twins fans, just from a starting standpoint, no matter how mad you might be at the product and the collapse on the field, it now removes your angst about the fact you can't watch the damn team or that they make it hard or that now just as an example. The Brewers are also going in this direction. They were on Bally Sports Wisconsin, which had a lot of tie-ins at one time when it was Fox Sports North, Fox Sports Wisconsin. The difference for the Brewers was they also had signed over their streaming rights to Bally's. So while they're bailing out, at least if you were a Brewers fan the last few years, you could stream games.
Right.
The Twins, Bally's didn't pay the Twins what the Twins wanted to stream games, which is why it just became an old school channel. So like Brewers fans are probably pleased, but for Twins fans, the most important thing, Dex, by far and away, is getting your games streamed. Because no matter what happens now, you can make a conscious decision to pay a flat fee to get around all of the BS. So yeah, I'm with you. This is a great first step because it's one thing to be mad at the product on the field, Rocco, and we could talk about he should be fired or he shouldn't, right? It's another to alienate your fan base because they can't watch the damn games. That's now gone.
Yeah.
So this is a monumental step into, at least if you're going to be mad at the Twins, one, it's going to clear up a little bit of the apathy, which was, well, I can't watch them, so who cares? And apathy in sports is death. And the other, now it allows you to vent or channel your angst towards things that sports fans want to, which is performance.
Yeah.
So yes, great day, great move. And again, I think we have tied up all of the key questions here, but this is going to be a very positive thing going forward.
Yeah, we'll have more on this too. We'll probably even react to this potentially tomorrow too with Mackie, who will be on the road, but will still be able to join us for all of our regular shows. So exciting news for the Twins. We'll continue to monitor. Make sure you subscribe and like the SKOR North Twins Show YouTube channel. And give us a 5-star rating on Apple or Spotify, however you listen, to help us continue to spread the word. And as much as we are still upset about the Twins and how things ended in 2024, a positive step in the right direction. So we will be continuing to be here and pumping out as much content as we can on the SKOR North Twins Show. Talk at you guys soon.